Hi, welcome to the Verse Pamphlet. My name is Robin. I'm the host of this one show, and this is hopefully going to be your favorite pop culture podcast. Coming to you every Monday, 6 a.m. British summertime, I guess. As of now, when we change the clock at the end of the month, it's still going to be 6 a.m. But yeah, UK time, 6 a.m. And today we have quite a lot to go over. I would say I definitely wanted to talk about the recent Elon Musk event that happened on Thursday. His presentation for the Optimus robots, and even the most recent SpaceX, the platform, like the mechanical basically arm that managed to basically work as a station for a rocket. We'll talk about that as well. I want to talk about the Tesla taxis and all that stuff, and the Tesla truck and all that. Just in general, what happened, what was the event about, what are the technological advances, I guess, that he tried to showcase. Apparently it was a flop in terms of that. Like, the show itself wasn't really, like, on the technical side, it wasn't really that advanced, but we'll get into that. And also I want to talk about the possible implications, the frenzy that that is just currently taking, I guess, everyone by a storm. Everyone is a bit worried about these events and like the robots specifically and jobs and all that stuff. It's just a very interesting conversation. So I want to talk about that definitely, and I also wanted to talk about the most recent Agatha All Along episode, because I've been thinking about this. I've been rewatching it. I've rewatched it already 3 times, and I don't know. Just I think this show is just really, really good. It's just so refreshing to see a TV show being good again, like that. Classic storytelling, episodical storytelling that kind of has been missing in Marvel, definitely, but also I think in many TV shows there's been a bit of like, we haven't had a fun yet complex TV show in a while, I guess. So I want to talk about the latest one because it has a lot of like implications for the MCU, but also just entertainment and representation and everything else. Just so much fun. And yeah, that's like, I want to just like throw these topics around. But anyways, before we get into that, songs of the week. This is gonna be like the first batch of the month, because last episode was the first episode of the month, but I did an entire breakdown of my favorite albums and songs of the year so far, so I didn't really put anything in a playlist of the month. But you can find these songs in the Overshare pamphlet, songs of the week dash October. So that's the playlist of the month where I'm gonna put all these songs in. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into the tracks. First off, Maggie Told Me You Got a New Girl by Caroline Culver. Don't know much about her. She's a new artist, I guess. And I think I discovered her through her song called Summer 2019, which randomly popped up on my on my Spotify shuffle playlists or whatever. But then I listened to Maggie Told Me You Got a New Girlfriend, with a new girl, which is an incredible track. If you like storytelling in songs and all that stuff, that's probably a song for you. It's quite the entertaining song as well. I would say, like, beat wise, it's like a very guitar heavy song. And the melodies laid on the chorus and the verses. Actually, I do love the most the verses, I would say. The chorus as well is like impressive, but I think the verses are very captivating and has this like very like specific pace to the song. It's like quite, I wouldn't say it's fast, but it's definitely up tempo in a way. Kind of love that. Kind of enjoy that for this song. So yeah, like, Slay, check it out. And you can tell from the title of the song itself, that this song is about, you know, discovering that your ex has a new fling and something like that. It's just like deals a lot of, with those like specific feelings, quiet, you know, interesting. So cool stuff there. Um, then I wanted to include a Alien Blues, which is a classical rock, I would say, type of track by Vandabar. Vandabar is how you say it, Vandabar. I think so. From their album Gawk. And I found this song, unfortunately for me, on TikTok. It was an edit for one of the for the latest Agatha All Along episode, coincidentally, but very cool track. It's like I love how the chorus like first slows down, and the main singer goes like na na na, and then like he picks up again with a very heavy guitar. It's just very cool stuff. If you like rock, like classical rock is not heavy rock, so you might enjoy. If you like, for example, Cage the Elephant, you might like this. I would say. Then I wanted, so yeah, that's a pretty sick track, to be fair. Like very cool vibe. Then I wanted to talk about Who Knew by Pink. I know this is an old song, very old song, and I've like stopped listening to this song like what, the moment it came out. Like when it came out back in the days, I was like very young. I loved the song back in the days, but I don't remember sticking to it for that long. But then I'm not sure how we came. Probably another, like it was on shuffle on my liked songs or something, and it randomly popped up after so many years, and I was like, hold on, this song is magical. I'm still wrestling with the fact that maybe the song isn't actually that great lyrically. It is in some portions of the song. It's very good lyrically, but in other parts, I'm like, okay, kind of cringy. Like, you know, where he says like, remember when we were like so young and cool, whatever. Like, who says that, anyways? But I don't know. But I guess the message of the song is like quite versatile. It could be about like, you know, someone. It's about basically someone walking out of your life in any sort of like capacity. It could be an ex. It could be like someone, you know, you broke up with, or someone who tragically passes away and like leaves your life, basically. But it's just that grief, sort of like an impossibility to come to terms that, you know, people were telling you to be worried about this person, but then you just defended them until your last breath, and you still sort of like linger and hope that, you know, this person might come back or something, you know. But very good. I love the melodies of the chorus and the verses. Very tragic song, but just a lot of like very fun to sing to. I would say, like, you can just shout to the song, like you can just scream it. It's just really really good. So yeah, that is definitely a good song. And then I wanted to talk about Mantra by my girl Jenny. I still don't know how to feel about the song, if I have to be completely honest, even though I've been seeing on Twitter that no one is complaining about the song for the first time ever. The only thing I've seen a complaint about was the length of the song, because it's so short, and I have to be honest, I think that it's also part of the reason why I'm not sure about the song yet. But I think I wanted to still include it because it is a moment after all. Like, the video of this song is just insane. The looks and the sexiness of the song as well, which is something so nice to see, because Jenny, I think, has it in her, but K-pop is quite conservative in that sense. Like, I mean, it can be very overtly sexual in some instances, but I think people, like, the sexy concept that maybe I would say is reserved to certain specific groups only, and that's it. Like, either it's your whole image as a group, or you're not really entitled to switch concepts to the sexiness so easily, if that makes any sense. You can dabble in different like genres, but I think a huge departure for a group when they go sexy, or if they're sexy and they switch to like a very cute concept, doesn't really work. But Jenny's a grown ass woman, and it's definitely I've seen people saying that this evokes the Idol, where she was in, like the TV show, the HBO TV show where she was in, and she was like doing some very sexy choreographies there, and I'm like, yeah, I can definitely see that. The song as well, I would say, kind of feels like it belongs to that type of show, which is like very generic, very run of the mill type of like pop song. I still don't know if I like it or not, if I have to be honest. But again, I want to include it because it's a moment. It's like very important for Jenny as a soloist as well. First song in her like solo journey outside of YG. So, and also there's a album coming, something like a project coming with it eventually. So, I'm very excited overall about Blackpink. Let me just talk about this for a second. Every girl is busy and booked and is preparing solo music and doing their own little thing either this year or next year, basically. I assume we're gonna be seeing Lisa's full album soon as well, and Jenny's gonna probably come with a new year or so, or something like that. Rosé's album is coming at the end of the year as well. Jisoo said recently in an interview or something like in a post, so I can't remember, but she said that she's also working on music, and my girl is booked and busy as well because she's been filming 3 different projects in terms of like K-dramas and movies for the past a few months. So she's also busy as fuck. But and she also confirmed again that there is going to be a group comeback next year. So I think what we are looking at here is a very interesting and I would say like new thing for a group that I haven't seen in a while, or I've never seen, to be fair, personally, where each member is going to do their own projects and then coming back together and then touring as well together as a group. So what I'm envisioning here is that each of them is going to do like a solo project, but then also doing the group comeback and then touring with all of the above together, which is going to be a huge, massive thing. And I hope that YG does that. I hope YG lets them do their own sets and then do the group set as well, which is insane, very lucrative, I would say, and very cool stuff. I guess I'm thinking, because Blackpink is extremely successful, I would say, not only because of the group image, but also because there are so many solo stands. And so when you combine the solo stands, you get the massive success of the group itself, the massive pool that the group gets. So yeah, I think that's a secret sauce for Blackpink, is that each member is also equally alone as famous as the other, I think, well, each member is famous by itself, but then the totality of it, like the sum of all the parts is greater than, than just the singles, everything else is just incredible, I would say. So I'm excited. I hope they do have like a full tour with all the solo sets as well, because that would be insane. That would be so good. And I'm sure the girls want to do it as well, because Jenny said that she wanted to have a chance to sing the album live as well. So maybe they're not going to do the entire album in the tour, but I would be very pleased to see if they can do solo sets, sort of what they did in a smaller scale in their previous tour, the Born Pink tour, where they all had their own little set. But this time around, I would want them to have a bigger solo set, and then do a group set as well, right? To split things equally, I would say, to get just major engagement in that sense. So, but yeah, that would be so cool and never done before, and outstanding and show-stopping and all of the above. But excited about that. So yeah, Jenny, great stuff. But yeah, slay. Anyways, let's get into the real topics of the day. I want to start off with the Elon Musk shenanigans. First of all, I want to ground this entire story in I would say statistics and just in general stocks and whatever, just to let you guys know, just to like sort of debunk a bit of the, or maybe ease, I guess, the scariness of these announcements, to see, like, to make y'all see what other people in the industry are thinking about this, like in the, you know, IT, sorry, in the technology, like, you know, automotive and all that stuff. So just to reassure you guys that this is not a catastrophic event as it may seem. But anyways, what happened Thursday? What day was it on Thursday? But last Thursday, basically, Elon Musk had an event where he basically showcased 3 different assets and projects that he has going on at the moment, under development. One of them is the Cybercab, which is a completely automated taxi that is supposed to basically bring people around and all that stuff, and, you know, eliminate a lot of Uber drivers basically as well, which is very interesting. But we'll get to the implications later on. But that's what happened. He says his Tesla project, the Cybercab project, should be completed by 2026, and the price for each Cybercab would be less than $30,000. Yeah. And again, shockingly, what I think people have been saying, like from the industry itself, is that he did not provide any details on the technology itself being behind the robo-taxis, or if it would bring down the costs of the self-driving vehicles. I'm taking these from the Financial Times, by the way. These reads, I guess, these analysis. But apparently people have been saying that basically most of this showcase was a bit gimmicky and a bit unsubstantiated. Like, a lot of these things that were shown were not really backed by any discussion on the technology behind it, the advancement of the technology. So it's been quite like quite a bit of a letdown in that department. Like, it was just a 30-minute presentation showing things, but not really talking about the specifics and the technicalities of it all, which leads me to believe that there was not actually any progress, like jump in terms of technology itself, that sharp in a way. I think the presentation was called We Robot, which is, of course, taken from the iRobot movie, the title. But he also showed a robo-van with a capacity of 20 people, and he also showed I guess the most talked about product was the Optimus humanoid robots. He calls them buddies, I think, as well. He like nicknames them as buddies, but Optimus is basically the software, the like AI software that powers the bodies, the robots, and they're supposed to be, like, you know, also priced at $30,000 basically. But again, like, as people were saying in the Financial Times, and other, you know, commentators have been saying, that the showcase was more about focus on the design and the branding rather than the actual technicalities and the advancements. And this translated into a drop in the stocks for Tesla. They dropped, they closed down almost 9% on Friday, wiping $67 billion. But don't worry, like, Tesla is still the most successful, I guess, company in the world in terms of automation and all that stuff. It's still a whooping almost $700 billion worth. But yeah, so the shares tumbled because this showcase was a bit not really, like, satisfactory. Like, it was not really satisfying. Like, there was no satisfaction behind, it was just like about designs and whatever. So I don't know. And also, if you take into account the previous plans that Elon had about, like, automation and all that stuff, and robots and all that stuff, he kept on saying, like, the target was 2017, and then he went to, like, 2019 and all that stuff. So it's still being pushed back because I think that the advancement is still not like quite there. I mean, he made incredible progress, of course, but people were complaining that basically the robots are still looking very stiff and they're not really exactly autonomous as they may appear to be. They're still sort of centrally controlled by humans. So, to the non-sympathizers, I would say this should be a bit of a relief. But yeah, so we're not actually. This my whole point about bringing these stats and these comments, I guess, is to say that while it may seem like things are around the corner, I personally think that it's still going to take quite a while before we actually get to the dystopian iRobot sort of takeover. But yeah, so basically, what really interested me the most about this whole thing was, what are the implications? What are we looking at here? What are we discussing specifically? Like, apart from the stats, of course, what are people saying? Normal people are saying about this. Of course, I think the general consensus is that people are scared of these things, specifically, in terms of jobs, or also the simple, fact that we seem to be approaching this, like, takeover very soon. Like, we don't want to be replaced by robots in general in any sort of aspect. I think some of the presentation, the part of the presentation, we're talking about how these bodies can, be doing your groceries. Can there was only one physical robot at the event who was also serving drinks to the guests. And that was kind of scary, but I think rightfully so, everyone is like getting very scared about, possibly losing their jobs to a robot, and it's so valid, specifically to those who work in, the service industry, and like, or, nannies, or even, to be fair, like, mothers and everything else, like people take care of, like, for the past years and years and years, I've traditionally been employed in the house, are sort of scared. There's a lot of, like, stay-at-home parents who are, well, then what's the point, like, if I cannot do these chores anymore and this robot is going to do them for me, then what am I worth in that sense? Like, people take genuine pleasure in, like, doing house chores as well. But I think the main point is, like, the service industry is also looking by the day a bit more at risk, I would say. And it's spanning into, like, big conversations and big questions are raised, of course, because what are we supposed to do once these, like, AI is already, causing damage in many departments when it comes to, for example, writing scripts or writing articles, or generating music as well, or sounds, or whatever. So it's putting a lot, and editors and everything else, like, it's putting a lot of works at risk already. But I think with the physical labor as well, this is gonna get messy and very dangerous, because if we start, moving away from more practical jobs, then there's only, that many spots in other areas, I guess, in other jobs, or, that can, I guess, satisfy the need for a workforce. So yeah, interesting. It's a very scary thing to think about, of course, but again, as I said, like, I think we're still very far away from actually witnessing a takeover in that sense. But I think it's definitely important to start thinking about what, like, especially for the governments, to think about what is going to happen to jobs in general, and, like, are we all going to be just, like, doing nothing, basically? Like, all these, like, physical, like, manual jobs, are they going to be completely taken over by the technology? Like, you can already see how simply, like, for example, even simple automated cashier machines, like, whatever, they're already, taking away so many jobs. But it's something very, very harsh, very, scary. And the conversation, I think, needs to be had in that sense, but also with a grain of salt and, like, grounded in reality, I would say. to think about like how things are not as moving as fast, but also there is an urgency that I think to just put policies in place. I think there's also another branch of conversation that was sort of going around the internet about, well, should we actually, just because we can, doesn't mean we should, right? Like, should we actually push this progress forward? But I think the problem with technology is that once something is ready in development, is already out, there's always going to be someone who wants to like buy it or employ it in some capacity. And I think there's also another huge, very big, I guess, side of this debate when it comes to like war and engaging into like conflict as well, because you can simply now deploy these robots and send them to places where you want to like conquer, like to win your wars or whatever. So there's a lot at stake in many different areas, and I don't know. I mean, I'm still on the fence. In a way, these robots, like technology, has to be treated very carefully in a way, and there needs to be some sort of control from the human side, 100%. It's our world in a way, and we are building, like, these are our tools, and we need to be using them respectfully and wisely. So no conditions like are a bit reckless in a way. We need to have like some conditional use of this technology. So, and I think it's also difficult to like agree as a nation not to produce them anymore, because this is a private company who's producing it anyway. So I'm not really sure how much the government can be I mean, you can of course be influential in like stopping the production of these things, but at the end of the day, these people are rich and they do not care. They do not give a fuck about like any of these things, and it's scary. It's scary. It's also part of why like being a billionaire is completely wrong and unnecessary, because all this money in the hands of people who are self-interested is just dangerous. I would say it's very dangerous, because these things get Elon Musk could simply sell, like, if the US government tried to like stop him, he would simply sell these things to, I don't know, to another government, to another country, would move his production to another country. He could easily do that with the amount of money that he has as well, and he could easily find a place that would host the production of these things. So again, it's very dangerous, it's very complicated, and on one hand I understand the frenzy, but also I would say I would encourage people in power to start thinking about how to best curtail this and like keep it under control from now already, because it's gonna take some time, definitely some time, to like actually see a jump in this progress, but it needs to be looked at with care, I would say. So yeah, I think there was an article on, what was it, the Mail Online or something. Someone interviewed basically one of the robots at the event and asked them what is the hardest thing about being a robot, and the robot replied saying, trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are, and that is something I try harder every day and hope that it will help us become better. So of course this sparked a lot of conversation saying, oh, that's insane, why would we want to like have a robot that wants to be human, and we don't want to be supplanted by the robots. This is where the movie starts, and all that stuff, yeah. So there's a real fear in humans, I guess, and like in humanity getting wiped out by technology. But yeah, crazy stuff. But again, AI generated speech is just getting more precise and more scary by the day. But yeah, so I would suggest again that we keep an eye on these things, because we cannot afford to get completely obliterated by the technology. I think part of the reason why we enjoy being humans is because we have a purpose in a way, like, and it is creating things and doing things and dedicating ourselves to our passions. and that's okay. But also, I think work is a major role that, you know, I mean, it's a tool that if is not distributed fairly, it would become a form of imbalance even further and create more separation and more dangers in society. So, yeah, I would say take these things with a grain of salt, but yeah, think about it. Think about the dangers involved in this whole thing, in this whole shebang. But, anyways, scary stuff. Let's just conclude the episode by talking about another thing, completely unrelated, but the latest episode by Agatha All Along has been living rent free in my head. I'm talking about episode 5 that came out last Wednesday in the US and like last Thursday in the UK. But yeah, it's scary what's going on in this show. It's just insane. It's just so good. I would say that we've never had. It's been a long time since we had like such a good television episode, like TV show episode in Marvel, in Disney Plus history or whatever, and in general in TV shows, because this was so good. It's a masterful rendition of episodic storytelling, I would say, and if you guys don't know anything about the show, I had a full episode on it, like trying to pitch the TV show to everyone because it's that good, and I'm still begging you guys to get into it if you haven't done so already. But I've seen the chatter online, and the show is popular, definitely. So I'm glad about that, and I hope that this leads to greater things for Jack Schaefer, the producer behind the show, and also Wanda Maximoff, you know, the character itself in the Marvel Universe. I hope she comes back because we need her. But anyways, to just catch you guys up, Agatha All Along is about this like coven of witches who walks the witches' road to get what they want at the end of the road. But it's, you know, 5 witches. They have to do 5 trials on this road, and after they complete all the trials, they would be able to like possibly achieve what they've been craving. Right? We have seen as of now 5 episodes. It's a total of 9. And in the last 5 episodes, we've seen 3 trials in total. In the first trial, we lost one of the members of the coven, and we gained a new one then later on. And then in the second one, no one died, thankfully, but we were very close to losing Teen, which is the only male character in the show. Queer character, by the way. There are many queer characters in this TV show, and I've already talked about this in my previous review of the TV show, so go check it out. But the representation here is impeccable. It's done so well, and it's done not for the sake of representation, but because it just simply is a feature of the characters, you know? It's done so well. Anyways, latest episode was the 3rd trial, and Teen here, well, this was probably, well, I think it was a double whammy in a way, because in a way we were very much focused on Agatha, the main character, of course, because this was her trial specifically, but also Teen was also, I guess, like the spotlight of the episode, because it was also very much about him. But anyways, in the episode, the Salem 7, which is another coven trying to get these other witches to kill them and whatever, get into the witches' road and start, you know, coming after our beloved coven. And so they try to run away. There's a whole scene about, you know, them hopping on a broom and flying and then whatever. And so in order to escape these Salem 7, they get into a they get into into a 3rd trial, so they cannot get, you know, disturbed or like, you know, attacked by the witches, the other witches. So, but little do they know that the trial itself is going to be quite damaging for the coven itself, because what happens is, well, there's already been you know, everyone is already suspicious about Agatha because she has this specific power that makes her absorb other witches' powers when she's blasted with it. So when a witch tries to cast a spell on Agatha, she absorbs their power and kills them. And it comes out of this episode, the mere fact that basically she cannot. Well, I believe Agatha. I don't think she can control the power itself, and unfortunately, in this episode, the trial is to face Agatha's past and specifically her mother, the ghost of her mother, and her mother, which was basically the head of the Salemites. We know that from previous shows that she tried to kill Agatha. So her mother tried to kill her. We never knew the reason for it, but it gets sort of. I don't think we've seen the full reveal yet. I think they're gonna expand on it later on in the TV show as well. But the mom decided to try and kill, Agatha because she thinks that she's pure evil and she deserved to die. She literally said, like, I should have killed you when you came out of my womb or something like that, which is insane for your mother to say. But maybe Agatha did something. I think I'm starting to believe that Agatha may have. Either the witches were scared of her power or something, but also I think it might also be that her mother turned on her because it's pretty clear that Agatha gave up her son for power or for the Darkhold. So I think maybe something related to that must have sent mom over the edge and like made her want to kill Agatha. But either way, that's very mean, very tragic, I would say. But and also, if it is true that she cannot control her power, then why didn't she help her daughter control the power instead of trying to kill her? What the fuck is wrong with this mom? But anyways, but the members of our coven also, I guess, are scared of Agatha in a way because they do not trust her, and part of the trial is to basically finish the unfinished business that this ghost has, that Agatha's mom's ghost has, which is of course to kill Agatha. So some of the witches in our coven, like in the main coven, they turn on Agatha and they want to get rid of her. And Agatha unfortunately proves them sort of right because Alice, one of the sweetest characters in the show, tries to save Agatha from the ghost of her mom and accidentally blasts Agatha with her powers, and she ends up getting all her powers taken by Agatha. And Agatha kills her, basically, which is insanity. Crazy stuff. And so we lose another warrior, another beloved character. And Agatha says that she didn't do it on purpose, that she cannot control her power or whatever, but this sends Teen over the edge, who was by this point probably the only person who was defending Agatha from the other witches of the coven. But after this event, he snaps as well, and when he snaps, Agatha snaps back. She embraces the villainous, I guess, like image, because no one believes her, so she might as well feed into it and gets evil. But I guess Agatha realizes in this fragment that Teen is Wanda Maximoff's son, Scarlet Witch's son. There's a very incredible exchange between the two characters. Kudos to the actors; they were doing an incredible job. There's a dialogue at the end of the episode towards the end of the episode, where Agatha sort of realizes that he's Agatha's son. And her expressions change so quickly, and it's just marvelous to see. Like, she's so good. And Catherine Ahn, what the fuck? You're an incredible actress. I'm so in awe. But yeah, so she realizes that he's Agatha's son, and since she realizes, like, she discovers his identity, the spell that was on Teen, that was making him unknown to the witches comes off, because there's no more need for that. Like, someone broke the spell in a sense. Like, she discovered basically the identity, so the spell is no longer of use. And so as soon as that happens, he also snaps and he starts using his powers, which we didn't know anything about. We never knew that he had powers. I mean, if you know the comics, you would have known that he's Wiccan. Secretly, he's Wiccan, Wanda's son. His name is Billy. But yeah, so in a twist of events, Teen Billy, however you want to call it now, he uses his powers to control the other witches' minds and makes them take Agatha and push her out of the road, and seemingly kills her. But I don't think he killed her. I think he must have like sent her out of the road because there are stills of the witches outside of the road, basically, and he also pushes the other witches out with his powers. So he is the only one left on the road, and he still wants to pursue against the road. I suppose his motive now is to get it was from the beginning, to get on the road and resurrect Wanda, hopefully, something like that. But he got so fed up with Agatha, he put his trust in her, and then she betrayed him, like, by killing his friend. And yeah, so he said, "Fuck the witches, I'm gonna walk the road alone," which is not a good idea because you need a coven to walk the road, clearly, as the song says, the Ballad of the Witch's Rose says as well. But they'll be back because in other trailers we've seen them coming back to the road and doing other trials. So yeah, incredible stuff. I am so pumped. The reveal at the end was so good, and the identity of the character being revealed is just, it's the breadcrumbing and the like slow reveals in each episode that just keeps me going. It's the mystery that you have to unsolve by like just tuning in every week, and I just love. I missed this sort of like episodic storytelling that really works super well, I would say, with a show like this. So yeah, what are you waiting for? Watch the TV show. It's just perfect for spooky season, and even if you don't like Halloween or witches or whatever, I think you would still enjoy the show because it's like written beautifully and has a great script, great acting. Patty Lupone is in this, Aubrey Plaza is in this, Catherine Hahn is in this, Joe Locke is in this. Everyone is doing an incredible job. A stellar cast, incredible music, incredible mood setting, incredible cinematography. Just 10 out of 10 across all the boards, So yeah, go check it out. Go watch it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I managed to talk about these two topics all at once, which are not really linked, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and see y'all next week. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on all the socials, and don't forget to, rate the podcast, subscribe, share with your friends, whatever, all the above. Bye.